Grab a cup of your favorite eggnog and settle in for a long winter's chat as we discuss the 10 most famous or infamous banned Christmas movies of all time. Now, you may know what's going to be on this list, but I guarantee you the last 3 you've never heard of.
Hail to the king, baby.
What's up, baby dog? Your friendly neighborhood Mastercast here. I hope you're well. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Let's get right to it. The top 10 banned Christmas movies. Are you ready? I'm ready. I think you're ready. I can feel it through the screen. Let's go. Number 10, Rare Exports from 2010. Let's kick things off with a weird one, and you can't get weirder than Finland's answer to Santa Claus that it reinterprets him as a naked feral demon. What? That's right. You heard that correctly. This one is positively bizarre. If you haven't seen it, don't show it to your kids. But why was it banned? Well, the whole naked Santa Claus thing, but what else? Some Eastern European countries restricted public broadcasts due to nudity and graphic mythical violence. And several European TV stations have refused to play this film during the holidays, which is really the only time you could play this movie. Then, of course, came the parental complaints from certain conservative regions in Europe, which led to only limited screenings of the film. Bringing audiences a brutal Santa Claus instead of the funny fat Coca-Cola Santa certainly created a cultural clash, and I can see why it triggered a lot of people. In my opinion, the movie's not very good, but because of its banned status, it is now considered a cult classic. Have you seen Rare Exports? Do you like it? Let me know down below. On to number 9. Number 9 is an American Christmas classic. That's Christmas Evil from 1980. This is the movie that director John Waters called the greatest Christmas movie ever made. But then he also said Eddington was the best movie of 2025, and I beg to differ. This lovely little film about a toy factory worker who suffers a nervous breakdown and goes on a killing spree on Christmas while dressed as Santa Claus got lumped into the UK's Video Nasties panic, which is what triggered its censorship. The movie outright was banned unless forced cuts were made, and these included a scissor to the eyeball scene and a couple of other gore moments that needed to be removed. When it came to physical media, some stores refused to carry it due to pressures from moral groups who, of course, didn't want their Santa killing people. Now here's where we get our first instance of someone being blacklisted. Director Lewis Jackson spent 10 years trying to make this movie, and then when it came out, nothing happened. Hollywood couldn't give a damn, and he couldn't get another film financed. He was essentially blacklisted. Of course, he blames this on the Video Nasty situation, but it certainly didn't help that he had this movie hanging around his neck like an albatross, and of course, it torpedoed his career, unfortunately. How's that for a Merry Christmas? Number 8, Cint or Saint from 2010. This is a weird one and very close to Krampus. If you've seen that film, don't worry, I'm not gonna put Krampus on this list. Luckily, that movie was not banned. It's a really good one. This one, however, is very bizarre, a little high concept, a little strange, but let's talk about why it was banned. The movie takes place in Amsterdam, a place I visited with my wife. It's a lovely little town, a red light district notwithstanding. According to Dutch tradition, Santa Claus started life as Saint Nicholas, and December 5th is Saint Nicholas's feast day. So the movie posits that Saint Nicholas was actually an evil priest. He was killed by the townspeople, back in the day, and whenever there's a full moon on December 5th, he will come back as a vengeance-seeking zombie ghost demon something and kill all of Amsterdam. At least that's the plot they're running with. So you can see why the Dutch government didn't love this film. They've actually banned the film from airing on December 5th specifically. Theaters were allowed to screen it on other days, but they faced multiple protests. The film is a high-concept goofiness from director Dick Maas, who also did the infamous film Amsterdam. I do highly recommend that one over Cint, which I was honestly not a big fan of. It's a little stupid if you ask me. But this, of course, satirizes the Dutch Christmas culture, and it really is sort of more of a conversation between sensitivity and outright censorship. Number 7, you knew it was coming, Black Christmas from 1974. This is an infamous film. I don't need to spend time explaining what it's about. If you haven't seen it, go do so. You'll feel richly rewarded. This film, as you can imagine, really put a lot of people on edge for the holidays. And this is a worldwide issue with this movie, by the way. This may have changed in the recent time, but there was a moment when UK and Australian television had banned the movie from playing on television for the entire month of December. This is an important film. It's essentially the first slasher movie ever made, and it influenced an entire genre, so no doubt it is important to Christmas cinema and horror cinema. But during its initial release, it was pulled from a number of theaters due to complaints that said the film ruined the Christmas spirit. And then the real murders happened. Oh, you haven't heard of the real murders? Well, do me a favor. Drop a thumbs up real quick. Subscribe. No, that's in bad taste. I won't do that. But if you're gonna do it now. Have you heard of the Cleveland torso murders? Well, I haven't either, to be honest, but doing research for this video, I stumbled upon an interesting connection. Those murders happened in the 1930s, way before the movie was even conceived, but there is a disturbing connection to Black Christmas itself. Now, while Black Christmas wasn't officially banned, it certainly was sidelined considerably due to the fact that the film deals with unsolved murders, a mysterious killer, and dismembered victims, which some broadcasters felt was too close to home, and they just did not want the controversy associated with the film. I think we can all agree Black Christmas is a classic, and it's an incredible piece of cinema suspense, something that you should certainly watch, but I can see why this is the kind of movie that would set people off. I don't know why horror and Christmas are such taboos when they go so well together. Number 6, hold on to your butts, a Serbian film, Christmas Cut, from 2010. Damn, a lot of these movies come from 2010. What the hell went down in 2010? I'm not gonna talk in detail about a Serbian film. It's a film personally I haven't seen. I have no desire to watch it, but it is very infamous for all the wrong reasons in my opinion. But did you know, I didn't, that there was a Christmas cut of the Serbian film? I don't know. This special Christmas cut was used for festival screenings and is still banned in the UK, Spain, New Zealand, and Norway. I don't want to go into detail, but the film is banned for sexual content, child endangerment, and political content. A Serbian film is one of the most censored movies in the history of cinema. Let that sink in. One of the most censored movies in the entire history of the movies. That's an achievement. That's an achievement when nearly every country demanded cuts of your movie. You know you made something, a little strange. Of course, that brings up the age-old debate of art versus obscenity. What is off the table? What is too taboo? Clearly, this movie was, and because of that, it is one of the most banned Christmas movies ever. And it should be at number 1, but it's a movie that I think most people are familiar with. I'm saving my top 3 ones for the ones that I'm pretty sure you've never experienced. Number 5, Silent Night, Deadly Night from 1984. This is indubitably the most famous Christmas horror movie ever made, and of course it was going to be on this list. I bet you were just waiting to see when it would pop up. Well, here it is. Now, the film was released on November 9th, 1984, and it stayed in theaters for approximately 7 days before it was pulled immediately. The movie about a mentally handicapped guy who dresses up as Santa Claus and kills naked ladies wasn't exactly something parents wanted to share with their families. Angry parents were protesting nationwide saying Santa shouldn't be a killer. And honestly, I agree with them, but Jesus Christ, it's just a movie. TV spots showing a murderous Santa Claus apparently traumatized a few children and lawsuits were threatened. This led TriStar Pictures to officially dump the movie and distance themselves publicly. Now, in a modern day, it is considered a classic film, but at the time, boy, was it a pariah. Banned is putting it mildly. My film critic forefathers Siskel and Ebert called the film sick, sleazy, and immoral, and it was a sentiment that was shared throughout the rest of the critical community. Ironically, it was due to all this hubbub that the film became an instant cult classic, and to this day, it's a movie that I'm pretty sure you watch every Christmas. I know I do. Not the second one, though. Garbage Day is the best part, and not a fan. Before we get to our top 3, number 4 is going to be a bit of a stuffed Christmas goose, my gift to you. Let's get weird with Santa Claus 1959 and Santa Claus Conquers the Martians 1964. This is a tie because both movies have been historically censored, and they're not horror movies. They're whimsical Christmas adventures with Santa to various degrees of quality and taste. Santa Claus from 1959 is a Mexican fantasy film where an amazing looking Santa Claus teams up with Merlin the Magician to defeat the devil. Yep, that's a movie. They made that. Christian groups claimed the film distorted the meaning of Christmas, and it was banned in some US regions for satanic imagery. Of course, this is still the movie about Santa Claus teaming up with Merlin. I mean, they're right. Christmas isn't about Merlin at all. They're right about that. Going further, TV stations refused to air it for almost 20 years, and I don't think it had anything to do with censorship. I just honestly think the movie sucks, and they didn't want to show it. Santa Claus Conquers the Martians is the most famous film of this duo. Of course, this one involves the fact that Martians want Christmas, so they kidnap Santa Claus and hijinks ensue. It's not great, but it's actually not terrible either. Despite that, this film was banned in the UK for over a decade because it was considered harmful to children. The low-budget weirdness must have triggered some moral groups because the film was deemed too strange and frightening for young audiences. Both films, while goofy and meant to entertain children, are examples of early Christmas censorship because both films were considered unwholesome for its target audience. Joke's on them because both films became cult classics due to the fact that people were told they couldn't watch them, and well, you can't tell me what to do, bro. Personally, I'm not a fan of Santa Claus, but I do love Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. I think it's a lot of fun. Top 3, are you ready? I'm gonna wet your whistle. Number 1 is a lost Disney film. Woo, mysterious. Let's go. Top 3. Number 3, The Christmas That Almost Wasn't from 1966. Odds are you've never heard of this Italian classic of neo-realism where Santa needs to get a job as a department store Santa to pay his rent. Ooh, reality sets in, Bicycle Thieves style. But why was it banned, you ask? Well, the makers of this movie didn't have their thinking caps on when they wrote this movie because the Italian public protested the fact of a broke and incompetent Santa Claus, for lack of a better word. And then, of course, Catholic groups considered the film disrespectful to the spirit of St. Nicholas. I think Santa should live rent-free, in my opinion. I think he does. The film was effectively shelved and hidden away, banned from being on television for decades, until recently, I think, when it sort of started to re-emerge as one very special Christmas oddity. This forgotten little gem is a little on the darker side, not your typical Christmas movie, very much taking a look at the corporate side of Christmas. Which reminds me of Santa Claus, the movie with Dudley Moore and John Lithgow, a movie that no one really talks about anymore. I grew up with that movie. That one is very dark, and it's very much about the commercialization of Christmas. We're not going to be talking about that movie because it was not banned. It's just kind of been forgotten about, sadly. Whereas I think that movie handles it in a very interesting and heartwarming way. I do think that this Italian little ditty probably doesn't need to be seen by anybody. Number 2, the newest movie on this list is Cannibal Claus from 2016. I bet you never heard of this one. I certainly haven't. This is one that popped up during my research, and I was curious how I had missed it, and then I found out why I had missed it. The film was pulled from Amazon, Walmart, and censored on several streaming platforms due to graphic violence and holiday sacrilege. This micro-budget splatter film about a mall Santa who snaps and goes on a killing spree only to cannibalize his victims, of course, would have triggered many people. This movie didn't have a big marketing budget or a big studio behind it, and low-budget horror does tend to get targeted more aggressively due to the fact that they really can't punch back. Even during its early film festival run, the film was banned and some screenings were canceled due to religious offense. Luckily for the filmmakers, but maybe not for you, the film is now available on some streaming platforms if you'd like to track it down. Are you ready for number 1? I think you're ready. I think you're ready. Yep, I think you're ready. Number 1, The Night Before Christmas, 1933, from Disney. This 8-minute short film is essentially an animated adaptation of the famous story, and it's a perfect example of a studio self-censoring itself and banning its own content. But why, you ask? Hey, you remember that movie Song of the South? Essentially the same thing. The film was removed from circulation in the 1950s because of a racially caricatured toy doll. There is another scene where a little boy looks up a chimney as Santa flees and he gets soot smashed in his face, essentially giving him blackface, which, I mean, I don't need to go any further with why that would not play nowadays. Disney suppressed it for decades, and it was not available commercially until modern archival releases. Disney has a long history of hiding problematic material, and my first question is, why do you have so much problematic material, Disney? What is going on? Jesus, can we just have a normal thing with normal stuff? It's Christmas, for God's sake. If you're curious to check out the short film, it is currently on YouTube. Just make sure you put 1933 and you'll get the right movie. Well, pal, that's it. Those are my top 10 banned Christmas movies. I hope you enjoyed that list. Which one shocked you the most? Which one was the one you had a feeling was going to be on this list? Which ones did I leave off? Thank you so much for joining me. Do me a favor, drop a thumbs up if you haven't already. If you enjoyed the content, of course, don't let me twist your arm. It's been an honor and a pleasure to spend time with you. You are an amazing human being, and I'm honored to know you and spend this moment with you. I've been your friendly neighborhood Master of Chaos. I love you just the way you are. Take care of yourself. Until we meet again, I'll see you at the movies.